FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
Cap and trade. The basic idea here is, as you know, businesses would be permitted to emit greenhouse gases up to a certain level, after which they would either have to have credits or purchase credits from other businesses. Obama here gives businesses a carrot. That is to say, if they emit under a certain level, they get to sell their unused credits, and a stick, which is that if they emit above the level of their credits, they get taxed on it. Senator Obama, quote, "Unlike the other cap and trade proposals that have been offered in this race, presidential race, no business will be allowed to emit any greenhouse gases for free. Businesses don't own the sky, the public does. And if we want them to stop polluting it, we have to put a price on pollution," close quote. Now that's not an unsophisticated comment, really, because what he's saying is that we should capture the externalities, right? That makes sense from an economics. Okay, so TJ on Obama.
It turns out that was the debate yesterday. I am not...
On this panel you said.
Yeah, right. I'm not completely hostile to it. As a matter of fact, Obama's way of stating it probably captures freedom and free markets better than the stuff I heard from the Environmental Defense Fund yesterday. To go back to an example. During the Reagan years, we had so-called acid rain, and the mechanism is very simple. If you have coal that's got sulfur in it, you burn it, and you get carbon dioxide from the coal, and you get sulfur dioxide from the sulfur. And when sulfur dioxide reacts with water, it forms sulfurous acid, and it comes down in rain, and it makes slightly acidic the groundwater and land water, lakes. So what happened was we had a cap and trade system like you just discussed. You were allowed to emit so many tons per year. And then after that, if you wanted to do more than that, you had to buy credits from other people.
Right.
And the other people got a credit, for example, by having a sulfur scrubber, so they didn't emit to their cap. Then they could make extra money by selling you the credits, and the polluters went at an economic disadvantage.
So you introduce a market mechanism of a kind.
That's right. On the other hand, you know, it is Big Brother telling you what you've got to do. And if it's laid on with a heavy hand, it can really wreck an economy. A cap and trade system, and of course, it's in my interest here to look you square in the eye and say, of course, solar energy. Light comes down, creates an electron hole pair and a piece of silicon, and we force the electron to go out and go through your motor, for example, before it comes back and recombines with the hole that was created. And there's zero carbon dioxide from that. So it would serve me well to look you in the eye and say, I believe in it, and I believe the cap for carbon dioxide ought to be set very high. Because, of course, where are people going to go to get their credits?
Straight to you.
Right.
Okay.
So it's in my interest. If we have to do something, a cap and credit of a modest level, $5 per ton of CO2 emitted, leaving alone the market below it and not subsidizing the market, may be the way to start to understand the problem better.
Okay.
But if we come in with some sort of doctrinaire, less Obama-like and more Hillary-like or more Al Gore-like, thou shalt do the following, we could mess up the economy and hurt a lot of people.
Last example here is John McCain, who is cap and trade. Incidentally, this is legislation he introduced in 2005. This is not his current proposal, but for the sake of argument, it's cap and trade. It's roughly the same as Obama with one difference. He wants heavy subsidies for nuclear energy. So John McCain, cap and trade with federal subsidies for nukes.
Okay, again, I'm having a schizophrenic reaction. I don't like subsidizing energy. The minute you subsidize nuclear energy, the problem is you're either going to put me out of business or you're going to have to subsidize solar energy also. And I'd rather get rid of subsidies. So let's get rid of that. On the other hand, I think we have foolishly and to our detriment the NIMBYs, the very same Greenpeace organization that was railing against nuclear energy 20 years ago, screaming about the apocalypse of the 3 Mile Island, now is in favor of nuclear energy. Well, you know, the rhetorical question is, were you screwed up back then or are you screwed up now? My answer to the question is both then and now, at least for Greenpeace. And I like nuclear energy because assuming, and I think this is a good assumption, assuming you can control obviously the very toxic waste, which I think we can. We can store it. You can make very clean, very cheap energy. And if you want to look at two countries that have done that, you will look at France.
Right.
They have
80% of their power.
That's right, and no carbon dioxide going into the world. So I don't think John needs to subsidize the nuclear companies. You know, if you look at the big companies, General Electric, et cetera, that are capable of doing that, they've got plenty of money. They can do it on their own.